I'm a guy that's 26. Each day I build with bricks. I like Star Wars playset. I'm Rich Boy J. Hello boyos, Rich Boy J here, back here with another video, and this is another episode of collecting every single LEGO Star Wars minifigure. This does include some of the rare figures like the Cloud City Boba Fett and the Chrome Gold C-3PO, which I am very fortunate to already own both of, but this series is not going to include those one-off figures made of rare earth metals like the solid gold carried C-3PO or the bronze Boba Fett. We're not going to do any of those, but I'm already feeling good about this year because this is the second episode of this that I've uploaded for this year, which I think already puts us ahead of last year, where I think I went basically an entire year without uploading one of these episodes. But with that being said, let's dive right into it. Our first two figures are some interesting ones. The first one is an Imperial crew guy. This is from the 2014 Star Destroyer Microfighter. Not too much to say about this figure. I think that detail and print-wise is actually very nice. I mean, it literally could have just been an all-black figure, you know, black torso, black pants. But they did include a decent amount of print on the torso as well as the pants to just give you something a little bit more interesting to look at. And also it has some back printing as well that does look nice. One nice thing about this figure is I think the pants have been reused time and time again after this, but it is a nice way to just, you know, like if you want to have a figure with black pants and you don't just want to use solid black pants piece, this is a good way to, you know, give black legs a little bit more detail. So while, you know, this isn't the most complex figure by any means, the fact that they did add detail to like the torso and legs, I think goes a long way in just making it at least look like a more interesting figure. Next up, we have the Republic Trooper. This is the one with the smirk, so you can see, take off his helmet, he's rocking a smirk. This came in a 2013 battle pack. It was Republic Troopers versus Sith Troopers battle pack. This is one of, I think, like 3 or 4 the old Republic sets that LEGO made, which was actually pretty cool because, you know, I'm a big Knights of the Old Republic fan. Not necessarily a fan of the Old Republic, but I think them doing that was good. It's a good kind of like path to go down, and fingers crossed, you know, with the upcoming remastering of Knights of the Old Republic that we get some sets based on that. I mean, we already have a Revan minifigure. We got a foot in the door. LEGO just needs to bring the whole thing home with some actual Knights of the Old Republic sets. That would literally be a dream come true for me. So I think this is a very, very nice looking figure, especially for something that was released back in 2013. It just looks really detailed. I think it looks pretty accurate to the Republic Trooper. I'm honestly not a huge fan of the helmet design in canon, but I think LEGO did a fine job recreating it with this mold here. I think it looks pretty much as good as it could. And I think the torso is also really nice. I think even if you weren't going to like have this figure designated as a Republic Trooper, the torso and leg piece could just be, you know, any type of troop that you want to have like walking around in the Star Warsy environment. It looks like it could just kind of be thrown anywhere like that. I did mention that this is the one with the smirk. I think the other version of this guy in that battle pack does not have a smirk. It has a different face. I guess that also means that I need to get that figure. But that's just the difference between the two guys in the battle pack. And the version I have here is the one with the smirk. So isn't that cool? Next up, we got a couple of droids. Starting off with the one on the left, this is IG-88 with printed head. This is, I believe, the first IG-88 they made with a printed head. They were just using like 2 studs at the top before to represent IG-88. And this is from the 2011 Super Star Destroyer set. It's honestly a miracle that this figure, even at this point, is not super expensive, given that it only came in that Super Star Destroyer set. They've done updated versions of this with like different prints on the head, but I'm fairly certain this is, you know, this print specifically only came in that Super Star Destroyer. So not really much of note to say about this figure, especially nowadays where, you know, pretty much every IG-88 has a printed head, but this is kind of the start of that, which is nice because, you know, having this, I think, goes a much longer way than the, like the 2 studs, like the trans orange stud and then the gray stud that's set on top of that. So, like I said, not really too much to say about that. Standard battle droid looking body. So yeah, Moving on, next up we have an R4P17 figure. This is from the 2013 Jedi Starfighter and Planet Camino set. This one is actually unique, and for the longest time I had been looking at this figure on my wanted list, and I was just like, man, I have so many freaking R4P17s. How do I still need one of them? Not realizing that this one does have a unique print. So the more modern R4s have like a silver band that goes underneath this printing right here. This one does not have that silver band. So this was unique to that 2013 Camino Planet set. And it's nice to finally fill that in my collection. Other than that, I think the torso is more or less the same as the one we get on the more modern R4P17s. Next up, we got a couple of clone boys. I know you guys love seeing the clones being represented in this series. Unfortunately, I've gotten to the point where there's just fewer and fewer of these guys that I need for this series or for my minifig wall, which is, I guess, unfortunate for the series because I do like talking about these guys. They're obviously very popular figures in general. But the good thing is that I do have most of the clones that exist, which just means less money that I have to spend down the line. So first up, we got the ARF Trooper, and these are both from that 2012 Elite Clone Trooper and Commando Droid Battle Pack. This ARF Trooper is pretty nice, honestly. I love the design of the helmet. I believe this is literally the only time LEGO has made an ARF Trooper, and this is one of the 3 ARF Troopers that LEGO has made. I'm actually a big fan of the ARF Trooper helmet mold that LEGO came up for these guys. I'm not the biggest fan of animated clones in general. I almost always prefer the realistic styling. And I think if there were a realistic version of this, I would certainly prefer it. But this is not, I think, one of the atrocious Clone Wars figures. I think this one is actually quite nice, and I would kind of consider actually using this in a mock. I'd probably actually just replace the torso before I did that. I have to say this is probably my favorite of the 3 ARF Troopers that LEGO makes. Like, the Shadow one is obviously, I guess, unique and cool, but I don't know, this one just looks nice. I like the white and red color scheme for sure. Dude's got some printing on the side of his helmet as well as the top, and he's also rocking that same print on the opposite side of his helmet, which is always nice. Just good amount of detail there. The torso is just the standard animated clone torso with some dark red arms, no leg printing, and he's rocking the Michael Jackson clone face print. Next up, we have an ARC Trooper. This figure is pretty goated. Like, what can I say? Like, this is the only ARC Trooper that LEGO has ever made. The helmet mold looks fantastic. The print on the helmet also looks really cool. Torso print, not a huge fan of. I think it just looks too simplified. I don't know, for whatever reason, the torso on this guy kind of bothers me more than the torso on this guy. Even though, I mean, I don't know, this one has the more swoopy lines and stylized look. But I don't know, I feel like it's not, I mean, it honestly, it's just lacking detail, I guess what I could say. It lacks some of the shading and stuff that you would kind of expect. It honestly kind of looks like a third-party torso when I really look at it and think about it. It's not as, I don't know, artistic as you would come to expect with LEGO torsos, especially kind of around this time where they really started getting really, really good at torso prints. My weird torso gripes aside, the legs look pretty cool. It's dark red legs, and they printed some white there for the thigh pads, and yeah, it looks really nice. This is a super nice looking figure. Like I said, has the cloth comma in black, the shoulder pads in dark red, and he does have a backpack as well. And surprise, surprise, he's also rocking the Michael Jackson defined cheekbones face. But yeah, I think these are 2 very cool looking clones. This one in particular is useful for me for my Camino mock, and honestly, probably this guy as well. I'm going to need some ARF Troopers toting them rocket launchers to take out the squid droids. So overall, very cool batch of figures here, and fortunately, these 2, even at this point, aren't stupid expensive. You can still get them for relatively cheap prices, which is, I guess, a huge deal considering the fact that they are Clone Wars figures and that they are clones. And the grand finale today is going to be my dude, Zeb Orrelios. This came in the 2014 Ghost set. This figure is just becoming more and more rare by the day. It seems like the price of this thing is just cringe-inducing at this point. But it is a pretty cool looking figure. He obviously has his unique head mold. He is a Lasat alien, one that we don't see a ton of in Star Wars for good reason. Like most of them were exterminated by the Empire, I believe. But you know, he looks cool. You know, it's just nice to get a unique alien in Star Wars in any capacity, especially one that is a main character like this. Like, it's super important to have him. You know, he has a decent amount, or a decent quality print, torso print, leg print, back print as well, which is cool. I was very fortunate for my version to not have cracks on either side of the torso, so shout out to my guy Francis for selling me a quality Zeb figure, because it's not easy to find this guy without cracked torsos, and I'm gonna stop moving his arms around before it happens to mine. But I'm very fortunate that, you know, this is kind of a rare figure, and it is actually in very good condition, so very happy about that. But, you know, what can I say? Like, this is one of those figures where, you know, it's kind of rare for no good reason. Like, yeah, I get it, it was only in that Ghost set, but I mean, we got so many Rebel sets. Like, there really should have been Zeb included in another set, considering he was one of the main characters, and he's basically the only one of the main characters that have only been in one set. So that's super annoying. Hopefully LEGO will drop another Zeb in a set, or just honestly do another Rebel set, and hopefully throw us a bone, give us another Zeb, so, you know, people can get Zeb for a relatively cheap price. But overall, pretty cool looking figure. It's a unique alien. You could pop the head off and, you know, throw it on some other torso if you wanted, just a Lasat that wasn't Zeb. And yeah, just nice addition to the Star Wars, or the LEGO Star Wars minifig lineup overall.
You need to stay off Tatooine if you can't take the heat. You need to stay off Tatooine if you can't take the heat. Cause it get cold just like hot. Cold just like hot. It get cold just like hot. Cold just like hot. You need to stay off Tatooine if you can't take the heat. You need to stay off Tatooine if you can't take the heat. My chain is cold just like hot. Icy with the frost, I'm blowing up like Alderaan. Shout out to grandma. Here's some advice you should remember. If you swipe a girl on Tinder and you meet that girl and kiss her, first make sure she ain't your sister. Cruising up and down the streets, boyos next to me, headed to the Tashi station to do some good rat things. I called up my homeboy Malik, told him pull up at Jabba's palace, made it rain just like Kamina, with more green than trees on Scarif. I was up in Canto Fight, rolling dice and making bang. Now I'm about to put some rims.
Yes, feels great to be checking out the minifigure wall once more. Here you can get a full view of what things are looking like. I just finished placing all the figures, as you could see in that time lapse. I believe the earliest figure we had was that IG-88, who's chilling here next to the rest of the crew from that UCS Superstar Destroyer set, like Dengar and Admiral Firmus Piet. Next up, we had, 2013 figures. So probably the two clones right over here. They look right at home. Unfortunately, they're next to that woman. But they do look very cool chilling there. Down later, we had 2014, that Imperial guy with the jumpsuit. He's actually in some pretty rare company. So we got, TC4 and Revan next to him, which is pretty cool. And, you know, he honestly just kind of blends in. Mostly generic looking figure, if I might say so myself. And then we'll skip ahead to the ending. We place Zeb over here with some of the Ghost crew, which is pretty cool. And it makes me really happy. I was actually super relieved when I placed Zeb, because that's just another one of those super expensive figures that I've cleared off of my list. And there's still quite a few more to go. But, you know, we're making progress slowly but surely. So those are the figures we placed today. Let's go ahead and, like I said, once again, take a step back. Minifig wall is looking pretty good. I do actually have pretty big stash of figures over here that either are new ones that don't fit on the wall, or old ones I took off, like Jedi Bob, that need to go back on the wall. So the next update, I might actually make a conscious effort to refill some of those empty slots on the wall, because the wall actually should look a lot more full than it actually does. There's just certain figures I've taken off whether it be for like collab stuff or mock stuff or whatever, they need to go back up there. So hopefully on the next episode, you guys can see an even more full looking wall, and I can, have a little bit less anxiety about this process as a whole. So, things are still pretty difficult in the LEGO Star Wars community when it comes to figures. Seems like every day there's some new random $100 figure for no reason. Well, there is a reason. We know the reason. We won't talk about that right now. But that obviously makes things a little bit more complicated for me with the minifig wall. But we're just going to try. We're going to try to tough through it, and hopefully, at some point down the line, we can have, a completed, if not like 99.89999% minifig wall. But that's all I got for you guys this week. I hope you enjoyed checking out this update once more. If you like what I do, go ahead and support the video by hitting the like button, support the channel by smashing that subscribe button, and I'll be back again very soon.